What is up, everybody? It is me, DevilNeverCry, and in this video we're going to be talking about Devil May Cry Pinnacle of Combat. Those of you who have been following the channel for a while will know that I've covered this game extensively in the past. It is a DMC mobile game which surprisingly looks really good for a mobile title. The game is currently in a closed beta, only accessible in China, I believe. However, the devs kindly reached out and provided me access, allowing me to get hands-on with the game so that I could show it off, I could stream it, and I could make content. And that is what we're going to be doing in this video. So this is going to be a first impressions video with the game. I just spent the better part of almost 3.5 to 4 hours streaming it, and I kind of want to get my thoughts down into one single video so that those of you who aren't interested in watching all 3 to 4 hours of that can kind of just get the too long didn't read list of what's good about the game and what is not so good about the game. So to provide a little bit of context, the game is essentially a reimagining of Devil May Cry 3. It features 2 playable characters that we know of, both Dante and Lady, with the third potentially being Virgil. It's been heavily hinted at but not confirmed. In the closed beta you can play as both Dante and Lady. I haven't unlocked Lady to play as yet, so the first 4 or so hours I've played have been exclusively with Dante. And hoo boy, is this an interesting mobile game. The game was not developed by Capcom, but it was supervised by them, and you can clearly see it with the attention to detail the devs have put into this game, which brings me to the main point, and that is its combat. Now, I managed to get a controller to work with my setup when playing this game, which means I didn't have to use any of the touch controls, but I will say, if you're playing this with a controller, it feels fantastic. It is a watered down version, so to speak, of the Devil May Cry series' combat. The style system isn't there for Dante, but it has been integrated into his moveset. The game features a separate button to launch enemies, which is very much akin to the Devil May Cry reboot. And it's an amalgamation and weird mix of just a bunch of DMCs. It's got animations taken from all sorts of DMC games, and it just kind of works. It's interesting to say that this game, as a mobile game, has better combat than some modern action games that you can find on consoles today. That isn't an exaggeration. If you've seen any of the content for this game, whether it's from developers or from me or from other content creators, you can see the stylish combos that you can pull off despite it being a mobile game. A lot of people these days tend to write off the mobile games in general, but when they're done this good, there really isn't any point to. The game runs at a buttery smooth 60 FPS, which is taking me aback a little bit. You know, a lot of console games fail to hit this number, so for a mobile game to do it is absolutely fantastic. And the main way that they get you back or get you into playing this game constantly is through the material and upgrade system. You know, DMC is first and foremost a single player game. You know, a lot of people play it mainly for the combat, but a lot of people who are just casually into games will play the game maybe once or twice and just put it down. The way that this mobile game gets people drawn in and sucked in so that they keep coming back and playing more and more is via its material and upgrade system. As I said, the game has a fully fledged upgrade system when it comes to moves, skill sets, health and things like that, but it's not just your standard red orbs you need, which you can get pretty much from anywhere. There are materials you need which can only be unlocked by getting good ranks on chapters, good ranks on missions, defeating certain enemies, hitting specific achievements and such. So you will have to grind away over time to get the moves or the skins that you want. Which isn't inherently a bad thing, I guess. I mean, it gives longevity to the game. Some might think of it as artificial, but through the 3 to 4 hours I've played, I didn't have to grind all too much, if you know what I mean. It felt manageable. There is a loot box system, but I haven't used it. I'm unaware of how it's going to work. I was given access to this beta, but it was all essentially in a language I didn't understand. So shout out to RK if you're listening for helping translate a lot, especially live during the stream. So whatever that is, that remains to be seen. As I said, this is a reimagining of Devil May Cry 3, so there are a variety of differences you can expect when you play this. Enemy designs are different, locales and environments are different, items, they're all different, everything kind of looks different, and it's strange because even though it is DMC3, it brings in other aspects like Fortuna from DMC4 or some of DMC5's UI design. It's a strange mix and mash of all these elements from all the different games, but they just tend to work. And it's kind of endearing when you notice something or you recognize something from a previous Devil May Cry game, and you can be like, oh, no way, I recognize this feature, or I recognize that animation or that enemy. It keeps you on your toes without, overstepping its boundaries and in an attempt to keep things fresh. It doesn't stray too far from the course, is what I'm trying to say. But that brings me to some of the things that I didn't like so much, but I guess I got to keep in mind that this is a beta. It's not the finished product, so there are still some things that will be worked on and finished, as it is currently a work in progress. The first of which is some of the character models, which some people have already pointed out, just even before the beta dropped. I'm not sure what it was, but a lot of people, myself included, and a lot of people in chat were saying that people just look straight out of The Sims. It just looks like a Sims character with a Dante or a lady skin slapped on, which, yeah, pretty much. I would go with that. I'm assuming the character models may or may not be tweaked. I actually think that this was mentioned in one of the surveys for this game, so I think they know it's an actual thing. Cue the 500th joke about Dante's chin looking like a shoe, which, yeah, I got that a lot during the stream. Another aspect I didn't like so much was the camera in the game. It was very erratic, so to speak. I'll say that much. It reminded me a lot of DMC5 with the lock-on being very, very dodgy, and the character sort of disappearing out of view during combat, which wasn't the best. But, it's a mobile game. You're limited by the touchscreen. It wasn't necessarily meant to be played with a controller, so I can see that as a shortcoming that is going to be kind of hard to get around, but I'm hoping they tweak the system somehow and just make it easier to track what's going on during combat. Next thing I want to bring up is the dialogue and some of the translation. Obviously it's a mobile game, so you can't expect the best of the best when it comes to voice acting, but there was some lines that came off as a little bit stilted, but what can you do? The main issue is that there were some grammatical errors in the translation here and there, especially with the subtitles. As mentioned, it was all pretty much in Chinese or Mandarin, I believe, but when it came to the VAs, they were speaking in English, and the subtitles were also in English, and there were some spelling and mistakes and errors, but again, it's a beta build. I'm sure it will get ironed out through QA. It's a small issue in the grand scheme of things. Overall, the game is a lot better than I expected to be. I came in very apprehensive. Sure, I'd seen all the trailers and the pre-release footage where things looked really good, but as you know, with a lot of trailers when it comes to games, a lot of the footage can be doctored to make things not appear as they really are, but getting stuck into it, and once you get into it and you unlock the moves and you've got an expanded moveset to play with, it does start to open up and it starts to get a whole lot more fun. And that's only with Dante. I haven't even touched Lady yet, and if Virgil is a character as they are teasing him to be, this game's going to be crazy. I said it before in the streams, I could definitely see this being a Nintendo Switch title. They just have to rework some of the controls and it would work pretty much almost immaculately. But that is essentially going to be it for this video. If you want to catch my live streams of this game, they will be at twitch.tv/DevilNeverCry. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about DMC Pinnacle of Combat. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know down in the comments below. And with all that said and done, people, it has been me, DevilNeverCry. I would like to thank all of you for watching, and as always, I'll see you all next video.